Alexander Graham Bell, inventor of the telephone, famously and fictitiously said, "When one door closes, another opens." Put another way, even a failure or a dead end can lead to something great. For proof of Bell's maxim, look no further than the 7 inventions below, all of which took their creators by surprise. Penicillin. An untidy office accidentally produced the first antibiotic, which has saved millions of lives. In 1928, London bacteriologist Alexander Fleming returned from vacation to find mold on one of his petri dishes due to unintentional contamination. He found no microorganisms around the mold on closer observation. In 1929, Fleming released a paper naming his bacteria-killing mold juice penicillin after Penicillium notatum, a fungus. Since it was hard to purify and stabilize, he wasn't sure it was useful. Oxford University chemists studied Fleming's paper and began developing penicillin into medicine a decade later. In 1942, it was widely used after a 1940 patient test. Penicillin is the most widely used antibiotic. Smoke detectors. Smoke detectors are ubiquitous in homes and workplaces. However, their creation has saved millions of lives, and having a working smoke detector in the home cuts fire deaths in half. Swiss physicist Walter Jaeger deserves credit. Jaeger was developing a poison gas sensor in the 1930s. His gadget detected his cigarette smoke, which inspired the contemporary smoke detector. Industrial smoke detectors were installed in the 1950s, but their expensive cost prevented widespread usage in houses. In 1977, over 12 million smoke detectors were marketed after technological advances lowered the price. 9/10 households have smoke detectors. Velcro. Swiss engineer Georges de Mestral didn't create a spacecraft fastening. In 1941, he saw that he and his dog were coated in cocklebur plant barbs after a walk. De Mestral noticed that the burrs had small hooks that caught on his clothing and his dog's fur. Fascinated, he spent over 10 years trying to make his own hook and loop fabric. He developed Velcro in 1955, combining the French terms velours, velvet, and crochet, book. De Mestral's nylon creation despite the name. NASA used Velcro on spacesuits and shuttles before fashion did. They loved Velcro so much that many think NASA invented it. Velcro is utilized in clothing, healthcare devices, autos, and aeroplanes. In 2021, scientists finally made Velcro quieter after decades of development. Dynamite. Not all accidental innovators rejoiced. One dynamite designer was frightened by its unexpected road to usage. In 1847, Italian chemist Ascanio Sobrero created nitroglycerin by mixing glycerol, nitric, and sulfuric acids. Gunpowder was weaker than it. Alfred Nobel, his lapmate, saw potential for profitable explosives and weaponry, but Sobrero rejected it. Nobel produced dynamite in 1867 by adding silica powder to nitroglycerin, blowing up his facilities twice. Nobel is best known for his humanitarian prize, although his income came from selling his patented war weapon. Sobrero lamented that his finding created Nobel. Sobrero added, "When one think of all the victims killed during nitroglycerin explosions, and the terrible havoc that has been wreaked, which in all probability will continue to occur, one am almost ashamed to admit to be its discoverer." Blood thinner warfarin. Viagra, or high blood pressure, and Valium, failed fabric dyes, are examples of accidental pharmaceutical discoveries. Warfarin, a blood thinner, was discovered in a field where livestock were dying from an unknown ailment. In the 1920s, moldy sweet clover hay caused internal bleeding in cattle and sheep. After routine veterinarian operations, several healthy animals boiled to death. Frank Schofield, a Canadian veterinarian, found that moldy hay contained an anticoagulant that prevented blood coagulation. In 1940, University of Wisconsin biochemist Carl Link identified the anticoagulant component in moldy hay. The Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation, WARF, developed warfarin, a potent derivative of the chemical. Warfarin was originally used as rat poison. Rodenticide approval came in 1948. Warfarin commenced therapeutic usage in the mid-1950s. Warfarin treated President Dwight D. Eisenhower's 1955 heart attack. Matches. After language, Charles Darwin considered fire the most important human achievement. Since inventing fire, mankind have tried to better our methods. Before the friction match, fires were made with flint and steel or fire drills, which were tedious. The Prometheus match, created in 1829, was ignited by shattering a glass vial of sulfuric acid wrapped in paper. Darwin enjoyed biting matches to light them. As one might expect, a mouth-lightable match is unsafe. While working with chemicals, British chemist John Walker unintentionally dragged a covered stick across his fireplace. Walker got an idea when the stick burned. He sold Congraves at his pharmacy in 1827, honoring the rocket creator. Walker's Congraves, cardboard sticks coated in potassium chlorate and antimony sulfide, ignited when struck against sandpaper. Walker did not patent his invention despite its immediate success. Thus, others copied and sold his invention. Hiding his role as creator, he was recognized as the inventor of the friction match after his 1859 death. Coca-Cola, the world's most popular soft drink, has a strange history. John Pemberton, an American chemist, attempted a painkiller in 1866. After being severely injured in the Civil War, Pemberton developed a morphine addiction that he intended to overcome by creating an opiate-free alternative. His initial product, Pemberton's French wine coca, had some elements not in today's recipe. Coca wine, made with alcohol, coca leaves, and caffeine-rich cola nuts. His French wine was successful, but in 1886, the temperance movement in Georgia forced him to create an alcohol-free version. While experimenting, he accidentally added carbonated water to his sugar syrup wine mixture. He named the drink Coca-Cola after its ingredients after tasting it. Pemberton's health and morphine addiction worsened, and he died in poverty 2 years after his creation. He sold his interests to his business partner, Asa Griggs Candler, who made Coca-Cola a national success.